Today on the American Truck Podcast, the Fallout 4 Creation Kit is now available. Hearthstone's new update is out. World of Warcraft Legions is out August 30th. And Mirror's Edge Catalyst was delayed again. Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with I, Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Groggy.
Cups.
I don't know what you just said, and I don't think I want to.
I would agree.
So, then, we'll welcome back to the podcast of podcasts here at Ghost Inc. We ended up not having anything last week because we were too busy and I didn't really have anything worth talking about, so, just shoved everything into today's podcast.
Yes. Welcome back to the East Coast version of a podcast based on the West Coast.
This is correct.
Now with more on-location understanding.
Indeed. It does look very nice out there. Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. There's nowhere near this many palm trees.
Oh, really?
This road that we're on right now.
Oh, really?
We're about to go under the Oakland. We've actually been right here.
Okay.
So,
have a selfie to prove it.
Yes.
As the kids say, pics or it didn't happen.
I do believe there is, and there's...
I have run into a lamppost.
You see all these palm trees? Yeah.
No,
LA
I do not.
has
I do
way...
not see any palm trees right now.
Yeah. So, like, these amount of palm trees, this would be like in LA. There's this many palm trees.
I still do not see these palm trees that you speak of.
San Francisco has, like, 12 palm trees.
In the whole city?
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
That is a lack of photosynthesis.
It's mainly normal trees.
With the new update to the game, if you are traveling above the speed limit, your speedometer on your GPS or your sat-nav turns red.
Alas, I have noticed this.
This is why I disable such a feature by tapping F3 twice, like a true trucker.
Who needs a GPS?
Well, there's one built into my dash, so...
Yes, indeed.
But this is not a podcast where we critique trucks and their HUDs, but rather a podcast about games and how we play them. So Fallout 4.
Yes, the Fallout 4 indeed has had its creation kit and mod support put into their open beta system, which means people who make mods of the modding sort can now go ahead and start making them.
Now, I have to ask, is this using the wonderful proliferation known as Steam Workshop?
I'm not sure. I didn't see any mention of it.
Really? So it's going through like their own built-in system?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, it's their built-in system because I saw a thing on YouTube today that you can share it on Xbox 360 and Xbox One and the other shit.
Yes, for the glorious console support.
Yes, indeed. So that would be coming soon.
Glorious. Is it worth it? Michael, is it worth it to have the creation kit?
I want a mod so I can see my feet.
Ah, yes, the idea of seeing one's feet. I do not know why I sound like George Takei right now. Oh my. It was the first thing I could think of.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
But then, that is the Fallout 4 creation kit. It exists. It's a thing. Let us go forth and mod. But now, Blizzard has made several announcements this week. Out of the seemingly blue, it seems to be PAX East this week, the week that we're recording this. Might not be the week that you're watching this, depending on how far back you might go in time. But yeah, they've been talking about a bunch of other stuff, and well, Andrew, do you want to take over on this?
Well, yes. One of the things we talked about in the past that is big and lofty. It's the the big Hearthstone update, Whispers of the Old Gods, that came out on Tuesday.
Which I will say has a fantastic cinematic trailer.
Oh, yes, of course, because everything needs a good cinematic trailer. Hashtag said no one ever. But
shiny. I like the shinies.
But this is the one that basically splits the game into those two different types, where you have the standard game and you have the wild game, wherein the Standard only allows basic and classic card kits, as well as anything released in the last 2 years. After that, you have to go to playing Wild, where you'll be able to keep all of your things as they currently are.
So you would say it's just that matter of the limited set versus the anything goes, go have fun set.
That would be correct. They're also
sense.
bringing a wave of nerfs to the basic and classic sets, so that way the main game is a little more balanced.
Glorious. They shall restore balance to our beloved card game.
At least in theory, of course. You know,
Well,
just like League, they change things and they never do the intended change.
Right. They change things and then they overchange things, and then people get mad about the changes of things, and then we all end up reverting back to Legacy anyway.
Yeah, basically. Next thing, of course, they talked about Legion coming out soon, and it is coming out a little early. They basically said September before or after, I think was the really vague way they announced it. And
That's rather vague.
we now know that it will come out August 30th. So you can pre-order it now, and if you pre-order it, you'll get immediately a level 100 boost that you'll be able to use, and it also unlocks access to the Demon Hunter hero class that you'll be able to play prior to the game unlocking, I believe.
So you could effectively have a level 100 Demon Hunter walking about even before the game releases.
That is correct. That
Beautiful.
is, I believe, what it was saying that it would do.
Oh my.
Now, one thing we talked about the last time, of course, was the shutting down of the biggest private WoW server.
May she rest in peace.
And the Blizzard has come out with some kind of response to it. As you know, there was a petition for Blizzard to do something about the fact that it was removed and forcibly shut down by Blizzard. That had exceeded 200,000 signatures, and one of the former Blizzard employees actually hand-delivered it in paper form. It was 5,000 pages.
That's a lot of paper.
Of petition signatures. So that happened, and Blizzard came out with a statement. They said that obviously because of copyright infringement reasons was why it got taken down, and they don't currently see a way that they can give that private community a license to the content to be able to run it themselves. At least not currently do they see a way to do it. They aren't able, according to them, to just release a vanilla WoW server.
Because we don't know what we want.
I mean, sort of. They said that they didn't really know how they would be able to implement such a thing, but it sounded like it was very much, we're giving you an excuse just because we don't feel like doing it.
That is, like, half-assed excuse. If RuneScape can do it, and they are leagues lower than Blizzard, I would think Blizzard could figure it out.
I would agree. They did say that there's a possibility for them to release a pristine server, which is basically the full game of WoW, but without a lot of the things that speed the game up, like heirloom gear and looking for group and stuff, which I know Kyle definitely doesn't approve of having as a thing, because it gets rid of a lot of the community aspect. There's no one just chilling in Orgrimmar waiting, shouting at each other, saying, "Hey, who wants to? I want to do a raid. I want to do this raid. Can anyone want to do this raid with me? Hey, can someone?" And then you would queue that way. So they would get rid of that, as well as some other things that it has to speed the game up. But they said they're not confirming that that's going to happen, just saying it's an option. It might happen. They'll see what happens. It's a whole lot of trying to save face in the most poor way possible.
To that end, I can see where you're coming from here and why there's an incredible amount of frustration, but the little bit of corporate world that I understand, there's probably actually a very legitimate reason why they can't just create a license like this out of the blue, because Blizzard, as we know, is friggin' huge as a company.
There's no debating the fact that it's probably a really long and slow and hard process to be able to give a license. It's more the point that there's no way that that Blizzard has no physical way of launching their own WoW vanilla server.
We assume that they even have a copy of the vanilla server.
I guarantee they do.
Dude.
And even if they didn't, there's no reason that they couldn't have No Stellaris. Just give them their copy of it.
I feel like there's something very wrong with that legally for a lot of reasons, but I don't know. I'm not a corporate lawyer.
I don't think really there would be, because the whole point, if there was a problem with it from a legal standpoint, then Blizzard would never have been able to cease and desist it. Because the whole point was it was copyright infringement in the first place, which makes it Blizzard's code in itself. So in theory, it should be entirely reasonable for them to just take the code, run it on their servers, and launch a server that way.
But what you're saying effectively is we can confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is 100% unedited code that has been unmodified to run on No Stellaris' servers. And that Blizzard should just be able to pick it up and drop it on their servers, which might be vastly different in architecture, operating system, and design, and just expect it to run? They open source the project, so regardless of whether there's extra code or not, really doesn't make that big a difference, and all it takes is setting up servers. There's a difference between saying there's no way we can do it and saying that it'll take some time. Yeah, okay, as a man who sets up servers for a large university for a living, I can tell you that there are certain circumstances to where things like that just cannot be done, either through manpower or through sheer force of will or through some large big shot in a suit trying to save face. Any of those are an option, but I don't want to paint Blizzard as evil just because they have responded in a way that is negative towards the community.
Yeah, I'm gonna straight up blacklist them as EA. So sad news for anyone who likes Mirror's Edge Catalyst. That game got delayed again.
Bummer.
It's only 2 weeks this time. It's from May 26th to June 7th. Basically, what they wanted to do is be able to have some time to listen to the feedback and comments from the closed beta that they just had open up.
Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that just from a project management perspective. Like, I would rather them take 2 extra weeks and make a better product than release it 2 weeks early and not address any of the issues that the beta testers found.
Right. Which, in my opinion, would be fine if they hadn't delayed this game in the past.
Correct.
They could have just done the beta 2 weeks earlier, so that way they'd have the extra 2 weeks to do it. But this,
that's assuming then that a build was ready though for beta testing 2 weeks early, which it probably wasn't because somebody's grandmother's ex-cat died. I don't know. Software companies are weird, dude. I'm gonna tell you that one right now.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of experience working at a software company, and I believe I can say that I can sympathize and any IT people who are listening to the sound of my voice will totally sympathize with the fact that software is weird.
Yeah.
Just IT in general.
So speaking of RuneScape, we talked about it a little earlier in the Blizzard debate. They released a brand new engine and client that's supposedly no longer going to be Java-based, or at least in the future won't be Java-based.
Yeah, I had no idea that this was a thing. So I think at the ending of this podcast, I'm definitely going to go out and throw my staff of air around a little bit and see if I can get myself back into Lumbee.
Yes. So supposedly it's C++ based now, which means you will no longer have those Java bugs that you used to always have.
You know what this also means? Linux support, which I noticed on their website earlier, because it's all like they'll just give you the source code,
right?
And you'll just compile it, or they probably even have like Debian packages. So just the fact that like Linux gaming is now still on the back burner of a lot of companies' minds is definitely kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah. And then, but it also brings, like a lot of graphics advantages using this new client of theirs. So
Right, because they can access the core of the processor. They don't have to
Right.
worry about touching Java that then touches the RAM that then goes back into an interpreter. It's a whole mess.
yeah, exactly. So there's all that, and of course,
It's so much more secure now.
there is, of course, still the old school RuneScape available, which I haven't confirmed uses this client. I believe it does, but
Now, what do you mean by when
positive.
you say old school? Because old school right now could refer to a Java client, or it could refer to RuneScape, the old school version, like the
Okay,
legacy
so
it is.
RuneScape, the old school version, as in 2007 RuneScape.
Okay. So pre-full screen.
Full screen, still in a box RuneScape. Yep.
Yep. Good old still in a box RuneScape.
Specifically, it's called pre Evolution of Combat.
Okay, because I remember when Evolution of Combat debuted, because that was when full screen came. Ramming speed! Sorry, I just felt like I had to.
It's pretty anticlimactic.
Well, for you it is, but that's because collision physics only work one way, because that's how physics work, people.
Yeah, that's
Love it.
That's exactly how it works, of course. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I installed it today. I didn't get a chance to do it yet, though.
I'll probably jump in for a little bit.
Gonna check it out after this.
Yeah.
But that is it for today. I don't have any other things, and surprisingly, while being gone for 2 weeks, we didn't end up with a metric poop ton of relevant things to talk about. We only ended up with these, 7 things. Just kind of surprising that, given the fact that there was PAX this week.
Give it a
was
week.
the
Wait until all the
slowest
PAX press
news
releases
week ever.
surface. It'll happen.
I hope it does. Otherwise, next week we're going to be talking about food.
I mean, could be worse. Could be talking about Blizzard.
I guess that could be worse. If you like this video, you go hit that like button, and maybe also hit that subscribe button as well, and go and do some commenting as well down below. And we will see you guys in the next one.